Hello and welcome to the TechBytes audiocast. My name's Tim and I'm from the TechBytes blogazine, and with me is Dr. Roy Shestowitz from the TechBytes website.
It's Friday night and I'm gonna get sauce. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. He tried to boss me and was outbossed. I fought the troll and the troll lost. I fought the troll and the troll lost. Underneath his Freebird Bridge, hoping goats will cross. Quoting Ashcroft and Tom Ridge, I fought the troll.
So, welcome to TechBytes audiocast, episode 22, from Monday, December the 27th. I'm Tim and I'm with Gordon and Roy again, and we're back from a very short Christmas break, and going to be delivering some of the latest news to you and some of our opinions on what's been happening over the last couple of days. I'll briefly start off with what I've been up to. I've had a very family-orientated Christmas. I've had copious amounts of time on Gran Turismo 5, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And I believe the Linux Outlaws covered it as well, so it must be a great game if there's two of us promoting its benefits. Today's going to be a bit of a mishmash of news. We're going to be looking at some of the things that have happened over a period of the year, which is normally quite quiet. We're going to be having a discussion on the end on a variety of topics, and we're going to also be looking at some of the favourite distros, favourite utils, favourite games of 2010, and favourite moments throughout the year that we've read about and reported on. So without further ado, I think we're going to start with Gordon today, and he's going to kick us off with his article he wants to discuss. So Gordon, over to you.
Hi, right. The first story, it's TechDirt again. Again, I keep seeming to go back for TechDirt again. This one is about what they call the dissident tax. It's the idea that when WikiLeaks upset the establishment and all the various companies were pressured to cut them off. You've got MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, Amazon. Some of these companies they hold the lion's share of the options for people. When you say to people, what's an alternative to PayPal as a way to protest? There is really none that do the same thing as PayPal does. So if PayPal cut you off, where are you left? So it's the idea that as the various companies and various small groups of entities that own so much of the infrastructure, if they decide that your cause or your site or you as an individual are persona non grata, then you can still sometimes get around it. It'd be things like setting up your own ISP, or going to some little ISP that refuses to bend down and just take it. But for that, they cannot possibly compete with the big companies as far as price, so you pay an extra cost in going with the small services because they're the only ones that take you, and the large ones don't. In some cases, there are no options, and in others, you just have to pay an awful lot of money to go with a little independent because you've got no choice. No one else will take you. So it's just the idea. I mean, that's quite a scary thing. The fact that there are these choke points in various areas that only maybe 3 or 4 companies control, like 95% of the actual space, essentially. So that was an interesting story from TechDirt.
Mm. Well, I mean, I think you've also got me hooked on TechDirt now, Gordon. You mentioned it quite a few times, and there's been quite a few stories here we've covered and given our opinions on with that particular site. I must admit, probably about 99% of the articles that they write about do interest me. So it is a great site, and I think anybody who hasn't checked out TechDirt should pop over to it and have a little look to see what they have to offer. I certainly subscribe to the RSS feed, so I recommend other people do. Sorry, Roy?
Yeah, the guy who runs the site subscribed to mine. He only subscribed to about 200 people. I'm just kind of, I was very happy also with just a few hours ago, I found the Electronic Frontier Foundation that subscribed to my account, and it's only among about 10 accounts they follow. I was very happy with that. But I was going to say something about TechDirt I've been reading for about a year. What I do like about them is they manage to take the stories. They don't take many stories at the same time, but they take one story and they manage to summarize the story in a very, very powerful way, and also sometimes linked to prior incidents. And the guy who runs it, what's his name, Michael Masnick, he has very good knowledge of how to address all kinds of misconceptions and tricks and lies that people repeat about the treaty or about the. He's very good at addressing the misconceptions about copyrights and how the music industry is trying to always convince you with the same propaganda agencies. Usually, it's the BSA trying to liaise with ITC and producing the same figures over and over again. And he's trying to address the misconception and the propaganda in the media by showing why it's false. And lots of he's the voice of opposition. I think he's the de facto voice of opposition to lots of the big media companies, some of the patent industries. Is being read and cited quite a bit by the big newspapers because he's their source to find the refutations for certain claims which are being pushed to journalists in places like the Washington Post or New York Times if they want to see what the other side is or what the weakness of a certain study is. This is usually where they also approach, not just for the editor, but also for comments from the same normal people who tend to follow the website and study how to refute the claims.
Right. Well, Roy, I don't know if you want to fire away with the next title, or if you want me to go with one of the ones that
I really quite enjoyed seeing a lot of people approaching me and saying to me that I was right about Novell for quite a few years. So one of the major things that happened, first of all, there was the patent sale to CPTN, which is a consortium organized by Microsoft, and now turns out to be also listed as members. I think it's Apple, maybe Oracle and EMC, which is the parent company of VMware. What happened is, in case of Groklo, as you probably know, has supported the case of Novell versus SCO for the past over 5 years, and it was essentially helping Novell gather evidence and trying to find weaknesses in the case of SCO, and sometimes staying up all night and trying to gather evidence, sending people to the courtroom for hearings and so on. So it's been hard for Groklo to criticize Novell, but just a few days ago, I think it was it wasn't on Christmas Day. There was just before Christmas Day, Groklo called Novell community wrecked, to quote, and PJ was extremely disappointed because she had spent so much time and so much effort and sacrificed like 5 years of her life, basically helping this company. And this company now turns out to be truly a traitor of the community. And the second thing is, when it comes to SCO, she posted on the 25th, mentioning even the possibility of shutting down her website because she was really quite disappointed and she felt like she wasn't necessarily putting the resources available to her to do the right thing. So anyway, we probably should move on to a separate subject. So.
Well, that's certainly going to be a topic that I'd like to cover again in a future episode. I think we could probably dedicate an entire episode to talking about that because it highlights quite a lot of important points. Certainly that you've had your view for a long period of time, and despite many people being very critical of your view, Roy, I think you've stuck by what you've said, and you've always stood by what you've said in your articles. And now obviously we're at a position where we can look back on hindsight a little bit to what's happening and what's happened with Novell. And obviously there's some issues that we need to talk about there as well. So I think certainly for a future show, it's going to be a very good idea to maybe concentrate on that subject, possibly in the next one or the one after, maybe in the new year. If I may, I'll just keep on the subject of patents, just with a very quick piece of news. This is in regards to a patent filing by Sony. The reason I bring this up is I don't have a lot of experience or a lot of knowledge with reporting about patents, but this particular one sort of got my interest because it appears that Sony have filed a patent in August, and I could read you the description of what it's supposed to be, but in a nutshell, it's being interpreted by quite a few people online as being a patent for a new CPU component, which is going to be an external device, which is going to plug into their PS3 to increase the specification